Okay, we're back in the Project One file, and I'm just going to close the media pool there for a moment. Remember that all these tabs up here, if you see anything here that wasn't there before, it could be that this got switched on. Any of these tabs up across the top here. So same thing on this side, the inspector side. And there's metadata, there's meters, and there's the mixer. I'm going to explain all of those as the course progresses. Not all of them, but most of them. This is intro to audio. So we're going to keep things fairly basic. This is pretty sophisticated as it is, and I don't want to overwhelm people. This is the narration that I read. You will find this in Canvas. Here it is called Script for Project Number 1. And this is what I'm reading here, so you may want to read through that. If you do not read through that, we can listen to it. I want you to listen to the whole thing, and we might as well make some edits here because I did not read the narration perfectly. Now, I don't want the music here right now, so I'm going to come down here to this button, and it's the mute button, so I'm going to mute this track. So now we can no longer hear the music bed, and I just want to focus on my narration.
The air tasted of ozone and something metallic.
Okay, I'm going to zoom in using the Command and equal key. It is a plus key on the key itself, but it comes up here as the equal key with my app that shows my keystrokes. And again, I'm going to move the playhead around just by clicking up in here in the timeline.
The air tasted of ozone and something metallic, a sensation that made Alara's throat prickle as she took a tentative step onto the crimson soil of Xylos.
Now, she takes a step there, so that might be a place where we put a sound effect. So I'm actually going to put a little marker there, just to remind myself that that's the area where we might put a sound effect.
To the crimson soil of Xylos.
And again, I just grabbed a little marker right here. You can change the color of these markers and all that. It's pretty cool.
The landscape stretched before her, a sea of jagged obsidian rocks and phosphorescent pulsating fungi. A stark and unsettling beauty. She was alone, a lone explorer on a world teeming with the unknown.
Notice how I pause frequently here. We want to let some of the sound effects or music beds come up and create some imagery and some color and texture to what I'm saying.
And a thrill mixed with trepidation coursed through her veins. Alara's ship.
And there's a little bit of a breath there. I don't know if you could hear it through this program here, but I'm going to go over to this tool here. This is the range mode tool. And I'm just going to hover over here, and then I'm going to left click, and I'm going to drag over, and then I'm going to grab the volume line and just drag it down. There's a nice little trick there just to silence one section. Notice I didn't do anything to this ambient bed track. I only affected the voiceover track.
Alara's ship, the Stardust, had landed in a valley carved by what looks like colossal crystalline.
I think I made a mistake there. I'm going to zoom out.
Alara's ship, the Stardust.
Aha. Okay, so I made a mistake there, and I started over. And so this section right here has to come out right there. So let me zoom in a little bit more. And now the same tool is the range mode tool. I'm going to grab this section right here. Now notice that this is gray. I could do this to both tracks. Notice how they are both gray now. I could even stretch down to the bus track and cut out all of this section here on all of the tracks. I don't want to do that. I don't want to touch the ambient bed at this point. I just want to make a delete here. Now, I could simply hit the delete key, but if I do that, I've created a gap. And now I'm going to have to manually come over here and drag the clip back over to meet the other one. Now there's a better way to do this, and I'm going to hit the Command Z key on Mac, which is Control Z on Windows, and put that back. That was undo. Command Z or Control Z on Windows is undo.
Veins.
And now I'm going to grab that same section again, only highlighting this track, and I'm going to hit the Shift key and the Delete key. Now this time I cut out that offending area that I wanted out, but this clip automatically came to the left and I slammed the door. I came right back and I have a nice clean cut. I did not touch this bottom track at all.
And a thrill mixed with trepidation coursed through her veins. Alara's ship, the Stardust, had landed in a valley carved by what looked like colossal, crystalline rivers. The descent was...
I'm having a hard time speaking there. So we'll do the same thing. I've got the range mode tool. I selected that area. I'm on this track, and I'm going to hit Shift, Delete.
Rivers. The descent was smooth, the atmosphere on Xylos surprisingly breathable, though the gravity felt slightly heavier than Earth. She stepped onto the alien soil, the crimson dust swirling around her boots. The silence was profound, broken only by the rhythmic hum of her life support.
Okay, there's a rhythmic hum in here. I think I'm going to mark that.
Only by the rhythmic hum of her life support and the distant, echoing pulse of the planet itself.
Okay, there's going to be some sound effects going there for sure.
The landscape was a tapestry of the bizarre. Towering obsidian spires pierced the violet sky, their surfaces etched with swirling patterns that seemed to shift and breathe. Giant luminescent... Try that again.
Okay, I'm going to grab that little section right there and Shift, Delete. It's called a ripple delete.
Giant luminescent fungi like...
And notice this stays highlighted, and I'm going to click down here anywhere just to get rid of that highlight.
Glowing mushrooms dotted the landscape, casting an eerie, otherworldly glow. Alara cautiously approached a cluster of the fungi. As she did, she noticed a faint, melodic chirping emanating from the shadows. She scanned the area, her heart pounding, and spotted what looked like a six-legged creature the size of a small dog. Let me connect that together. The size of a small dog.
Oops, okay, so I picked it up. I should have picked it up from the beginning of the sentence, but it looks like to me this is the size
of a small...
Yeah, okay, so this is...
The size of...
All right, so I want to connect these two together, and I'm going to just grab that whole thing there, and this part's coming out because I'm going to hit Shift, Delete. You will get used to this. You will get used to making these keyboard shortcut ripple deletes, and your workflow, establish your workflow this way now, and your workflow will just get faster and faster as you move along, and the muscle memory starts coming in and the click memory starts coming in. So it's going to take some time for that to happen, but trust me, it will.
Six-legged creature, the size of a small dog with iridescent scales and glowing eyes, scurrying between the fungi. She knew she had to be cautious. This planet was a place of wonders, but also of potential dangers. Alara ventured...
I made some mouth noises in there, and that's going to happen when you do voiceover narration. So I'm going to highlight and grab that volume bar and just come right down with it.
Dangers.
Oops. And it's going to loop.
Alara
Sometimes I have this loop button on. If you don't see that red, then it's off. When it's red, it's on. And when you make a silence like that, if the playhead is still in there, it'll just loop around there. And that's how to get it out of there. Just click anywhere on the timeline to move it.
Ventured deeper into the valley, her boots crunching on the strange rocky ground. She used her scanner to map the area, noting the strange formation.
All right. She used her scanner. There's going to be a tech noise right there going in there.
Area, noting the strange formations in the peculiar flora.
Oh boy.
Formations in the
All right. Boy. I wish I didn't do that. Now it doesn't matter if I go all the way down now because there's nothing on the tracks below. There's no audio files down here, so it's okay if I kind of come down into here.
Strange formations in the peculiar.
All right, this is going to be a little bit of surgery here. I'm going to go right in. Okay, so in the. All right, so this is going to happen here. I think I've got it. I'm actually going to loop that. So if I put this here in this little section, this little green bar also tells you what you've highlighted. In this coming out. Shift delete. Let's try that.
Formations and the formations and the.
It's not bad. I'm just going to take this little white tab here and pull it back to the left, and that's going to create a slight fade just to take the curse out of that upcut.
Formations and the peculiar flora and fauna. She discovered a cave entrance hidden behind a curtain of phosphorescent vines.
All right, I'm scrolling along with my fingers on my trackpad. I'm going to zoom out so that I don't have to keep doing that.
And a sense of adventure compelled her to explore it. Now Lara knew that her...
All right, I started this track. I had paused the recording and started again, and it sounds upcut.
Now Lara knew that her journey had just begun. After a...
So that goes somewhere here.
Adventure compelled her to explore it.
Yeah, I need to trim that back a little bit, bring that in closer. And also going to do the same thing with this fade tool. This is the fade in and fade out tool.
Her to explore it. Now Lara knew that her...
It's a little too much.
Now Lara knew...
Still just a little too much.
Explore it. Now Lara knew that her...
It's okay. I'm getting picky now.
Now Lara knew that her journey had just begun. After
okay, a mistake and a mouth noise. That's gross. That's coming out.
After a harrowing encounter with the creature, Lara retreated to her ship, her heart pounding in her chest. She had seen and experienced things that she could never have imagined, and she knew that she had to return to Earth with her findings. She had walked on an alien planet, and she would never be the same.
Okay, so we went through that little narrative piece on that top track, and we made some basic edits. We silenced some parts, and please feel free to go through this as many times as you need to. Stop, pausing, doing it on your computer as you watch me do it. This is how I learned how to do it, and it's a pretty effective way. Now, just for the heck of it, one last thing before this video ends. I'm going to unmute this ambient bed track. Tasted of ozone and something metallic, a sensation that made Alara's throat prickle. I do think this needs to come down a little bit. I think it's still a little too high under my voice, a little too loud in volume under my voice. And let's do that when we come back to the next video.